On First News today, I'm holding what was once alfalfa flower, and then the bees took over. They got in here looking for some nectar so that they could make more honey, and then that pollinated the flower on the alfalfa plant, and that finally turned into a pod. Now that pod is going into the harvester and being beat quite a bit there so that the seeds that are in these little pods will fall out, and then they save the seeds. Well, that's not an easy job. It takes a man that knows what it's all about, and that's Gordon Casey with Casey Harvesting, who has been doing a lot of harvesting of seed this year. Gordon, what's unique about the alfalfa seed harvest?
Well, it's a tiny seed, and you've got a real tight pod. It's hard to get the seed out and keep everything clean. You blank off your concaves and you're running your cylinder fairly fast, but you got to be careful for crackage there too.
Now, Gordon, let's talk a little bit about the seed. First of all, now this will be harvested. You talk about screens. What is a screen? Is it like you find on your window?
Well, kind of. What it does, it sizes the seed down, and the screens we're using is 1/10 of an inch in diameter.
So how does the seed find its way to the screen? Doesn't it go out with the trash?
Well, it's heavier than the trash. We adjust the air so that the air does the primary separation, and then the screen sizes off the other heavy material that would fall down.
Now, you recently did the Bermuda grass harvest, and those seeds are even smaller than these, aren't they?
That's right, George. They're about the size of a mustard seed or even smaller.
And now, how do you keep track of all these things? Don't they get a lot of these seeds get away from you?
Oh no, we manage to maintain most of them. Like I said, it's simple density and sizing, and the air does most of the separation.
Now, Gordon, you just didn't depend on a manufacturer to give you a head that would go in there and harvest this alfalfa seed. You worked on this in your shop, didn't you?
That's right. We have a special header that we use primarily for all of our pod crops, and what it does is as the fingers strip through, it saves most of those pods that would be dropped on the ground.
Now, this little pod here is shaped just about like a snail, doesn't it?
That's right, George, and those seeds are retained inside that snail.
Now, then you have to get something to beat it, and that's what you worked on, to get that beater bar to get it to break open and then spill out the seeds.
That's right, and we hope for a real clean sample here.
Okay, well, we're going to take a look at it closer, folks, but first of all, this is certainly a great innovation to be able to get out there and find the seed. And let's go back a little bit. What did they used to do in the old days when they had seed? Do you have any idea?
Well, a lot of times I've heard my dad talk about the stationary thrashers where they'd bring it by wagons and put it in a big pile and then separate it with a stationary thrasher.
We just had something go over there. What kind of bug is that? Huh?
I'm not sure. It looks like a big ligus.
Well, they're all looking for a meal, and I hope our microphone is not going to be it. But this, of course, is the alfalfa seed season, harvest for season, right?
That's right.
Gordon Casey, Casey & Sons, Custom Harvesting of Somerton, Arizona.